Hello, everybody. Yes, good to see you again, and welcome back to CUPPA CHAT. And I've got for you here another professional person to have a conversation with us once again. Yes, you have been sending in your questions for our guests, and you sent in quite a lot for our guest today. So I'm pleased to welcome to CUPPA CHAT the lovely Amy. Hello, Amy.
Hello, everybody. I hope you guys are doing well.
Oh, we are doing well. How has lockdown been for you? Is it all right?
It's been very boring. It's been a lot of sitting around trying to keep myself occupied and a lot of food. It's been very boring.
Yes, I agree with the food side of it. I have just munched. I'll give you a little bit of a secret. I've just munched on a whole pack of fingers, chocolate fingers.
You can't just eat one or two. You have to eat the whole packet. I'm sorry, I can't just eat.
I know these people who just eat like, oh, I'm just gonna have two. No, eat the whole lot, I tell you.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us here today for CUPPA CHAT. As I said, we had lots of questions come in for you, which is fantastic. And you are a children's entertainer and actor, which sort of sparked off our members' imagination and you guys at home. So are you all right to answer some questions for us today?
I'll have to think about it. Of course I can.
Oh, perfect. Before we do the questions, though, I do need to check that you have got a cup of something to drink. What have you got, Amy, today? Tell us.
Well, I'm a bit of a sugar addict, so I've got a nice cup of Coca-Cola in my little Pikmin cup.
In your what cup?
It's Pikmin. It's a game. I don't know many people. It's a very cute game. It's about like growing. Well, it's about growing an army, but it's a cute army, and they help you. It's not as bad as it sounds, I promise.
It's a cute army. Well, I mean, I've gone for a cute wizard and I've gone for Harry Potter today and blackcurrant, though, I've gone with.
Oh, I'm not
you
a fan
don't
of
like blackcurrant?
Nah. I'm more of an orange person if I have a squash or something like that.
You know what? I've just taken a sip of this. It's the first time I've had this blackcurrant. It's like blackcurrant and strawberries. It tastes like, you know, slush puppies. It tastes like that.
Oh, I love slush puppies. Oh.
Next time we meet up, we'll have a slush puppy, shall we?
Absolutely.
Now, Amy, every guest that comes on the CUPPA CHAT, I have made an invention that is going to change your life forever in the children's entertainment world, okay? And you're no different today. I'm going to share it with you now. This
all right.
It's all fallen to pieces already. Let me get it back together for you. Right, this is the children's entertainment thingamabob thing. Okay. Now, how this works is, as a children's entertainer, if things start to go a little bit wrong, you just bring out this, okay? Because things do go wrong, don't they, sometimes?
A lot of the times it goes wrong, not gonna lie.
So this is what could save your bacon. This is the Ladybird's children's entertainer thingamabob. Now, on each of its legs, it's got a different strand, or it kind of did until everything starts falling off. Look, we've got little flashy things for the kids. Yeah, they might want to play with that. We've got a torch, because kids they love torches, don't they? You know, it's, yeah. I've got a Pokemon, because kids absolutely love Pokemon. I've got sweeties, because sweeties always make a kid be quiet. And I've even got a pen, you know, they can do some colouring and things like that. Yeah. And a cute little penguin.
Oh, I like the penguin.
I mean, is this going to change your life or not forever?
I mean, it's going to be difficult holding that and a microphone. I would kind of...
Yeah, we'll sort that out. Maybe we can make a necklace or something and it sort of hang down in front of you, and then no,
I don't think it would work as a necklace. Maybe I can have him as a companion on the stage, maybe.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad you said that, because this could be the first invention that hasn't been wanted by a guest. So I'll make it a companion then, if that's all right.
Yeah, companion would be good. It gets lonely on the sometimes.
Oh, well, I'll send that to you in the post then, okay? That's your invention sorted. Enough about inventions, however, we've got to get down to the serious business now, because you guys, as I said, at home have been sending in your questions for the lovely Amy, who is going to have 15 minutes now or thereabouts to answer the questions as best as she can. And hopefully we'll get a little bit of gossip and some insight into the children's entertainment world. Amy, are you ready?
Yes, I'm
Perfect.
ready. That was very enthusiastic.
That's all right. I feel like between me and you, because we've got you, the children's entertainer, here today, we're all like this today. We're all like, hello, welcome, darlings.
Very panto, isn't it? Very panto.
It's gone very panto and very children's entertainment. Well, we've got 15 minutes on the clock. Let's start it now. Let's start with this question. So it's a little bit of an introduction as such. What is children's entertainment? Someone said, is it like CBBC? What is it?
It's kind of very similar to CBBC. So what I do is basically what you see on CBBC, but live in front of a whole audience of people, and you don't have a huge crew helping you out. So it's a lot of just me on a stage, which sounds really boring, but I promise I make it fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of playing games, talking to the kids, talking to the adults, a lot of craziness as well. The way I present things is a bit crazy, but it's very similar. Sometimes I do stuff like CBBS, and then sometimes I do stuff like CBBC. It depends what the demographic is of the kids or the teenagers that I'm talking to.
Yeah, definitely. So is all these things live and like people come and watch then? Is it like party sort of evenings and so on? Is that the best way of describing it? Or how would you describe it?
Basically, like the way I do entertaining is like holidays. Everyone's been on a holiday, and usually at night time you go and see a show. So my job is to do all the stuff that isn't the performing. I do sometimes do the dancing and the singing, but my main thing is presenting. So I do like game shows, loads of games. I hang out with a lot of colourful friends as well. So I help them with all their dramatic needs, because sometimes they can be very dramatic working with them. And it's a lot of just talking to people, but just animated and interesting, and throwing jokes in there. And people can come and go, please. Like, you don't have to pay for it because you've already paid a lot of money for a holiday. So if you had to pay for entertainment, I think people would be very mad. But there's a lot like that.
Is it like red coat and blue coat, that sort of style? Then is that children's entertainment? And I've probably upset you now, because there's probably another type of coat.
I was a Fun Star a couple of years ago, which is with a lovely company. I think anyone who hears that name know exactly where I've worked. But there's loads of different types. There's loads of different color coats and everything. But it's basically exactly like that. But I do more of the stuff on stage, because there's some who do it off stage and who don't go on stage. They just talk to people. But I do a lot of it on the stage.
I mean, that's quite cool, isn't it? That you get to you get to make people's holidays as such then, because when you go to a theatre, and we've had lots of actors on the CUPPA Chat, you go for an event. When you're on a holiday, you might have the same people come in for 3 nights in a row, and you need to make every night as special as the previous one. Is that difficult, or have you got a program in place?
It's not really that difficult, because once you see people come in all the time, you get used to seeing their faces, and you learn their names, you learn about their family, why they're on holiday. I have made a lot of friends of families and kids who have come on holiday. Some of them who actually still keep in contact with me today, because they really need being on holiday with me, even though I'm not on holiday. Sometimes it can be difficult, because some people like to throw the whole favoritism. If you're talking to a family who you've just got to know, and they've just come on their first night and they haven't been spoke to, but I'm very good with trying not to talk to every person. Yeah,
I think that comes a lot with compare work, as most people who are watching know. I do a lot of compare work, and the same thing happens, that when you want to make that sort of link with families, and especially people who are like, oh, Gary, hi, and you want to speak to them, obviously, but you need to remember that there is maybe a new family that you've never met before, and you need to give them the same amount of time as well. A good question to start on then. Let's move on to another question that's kind of linked in, which someone's asked you, Amy. They've said, in children's entertainment, you have to smile a lot. Does it hurt to smile so much? I thought that was a great question.
The funny thing is, when you're presenting, like I get like this when I sing as well. You get that kind of little jitters and nervousness, and sometimes when I'm smiling, my face is literally twitching. So I'm smiling, and you can just see my mouth twitching because I'm smiling so much.
Yeah.
It does hurt a little bit sometimes, but it does also come naturally. So like you just naturally smile when you talk to people. Like, for example, when you work on any sort of holiday park, even if it's your day off, you have to be on as soon as you leave your accommodation, because even if you're not working, people will still come up to you and talk to you. I've tried to buy a pint of milk from the shop and a kid's come up to me and talked to me for about 30 minutes. So you constantly have to be smiling, because if you for 1 second drop your smile, people are going to it's going to ruin the illusion of the magicalness of working at a holiday park. So you constantly have to be smiling. I use a lot of vocal exercises to like warm up my mouth and warm up my voice, which sounds really dramatic, but it helps a lot.
Yeah, and actually, if you are, as you are, because I know I've worked with you, if you're a naturally nice person, you just end up smiling. Anyway, look, she's pulling face. She's like, me? Oh, darling. It comes normal, doesn't it, though? You do just smile and become a nice person. Great question. Good question. Let's take things back a little step then with our next question. Someone said, what training path did you take to become a professional in this field? Did you go to drama school? Did you just go on audition? How did it work?
I'm not gonna lie, I did absolutely no training at first. I was in college and I was studying performing arts, which a lot of people do. And I wanted a job for the summer, and I saw that a company was hiring and they had auditions. So I saved up all my money to go to an audition, not knowing if I was going to get it or not, but I thought it'd be a good experience, so then I can learn from the audition and then grow for next time I want to audition again. And I ended up getting the job straight away, which was amazing. But I actually did no training until I got the job, because usually with holiday parks, it's kind of like going to a massive school when you do your training, because you all get together, all of the entertainers, whether you're a dancer, a singer, or a presenter like me, you all get together and you learn everything about the friends you're going to be performing with, game shows, all the boring stuff behind the scenes and stuff like that. But it's like a huge convention of holiday parks, and it's quite cute because you also get to kind of role play, so you get to take part in the game shows like you were a little kid. It's a lot of fun, but honestly, I would say it is better if you do get some sort of training. Like I would say to anyone who's going to go to an audition to be a children's entertainer, practice speaking on a microphone. Because nowadays what they do now at auditions is, because they know people get nervous speaking on a mic, they actually ask you at the audition to speak on a microphone. And at mine, they didn't do that because they just didn't. I don't know why. But usually nowadays they do. So getting practice, just speaking out loud in front of people and holding something is great practice. So if you're going to do anything, I would do that.
You know what? That is actually really good advice, because especially, I mean, we're on like online now having a chat, and there's a lot of young people who are watching this who maybe like vlogging and talking to camera, but there is so many people that say this to the microphone and you like, hello, I can't hear you, or the opposite, and it's like, and you can't hear anything. So that is actually such a good thing, and a good tip from you as well, that get used to having something in your hand and talking to it, because you even see it on television nowadays that, you know, people have these microphones and I'm like, the poor sound guy, they must be like, hello, can you speak up?
They're moving it away from them, and
yeah, you're moving it away. That is really interesting. And just before we move on, it's really nice to hear as well that you went for a job and you got it, and then you had the training afterwards. A lot of people think of that, if you don't go to a drama school, or you don't do musical theatre at university or college or whatever, that you might as well just finish. You did your college, and then you went for an audition, and then they helped you. No one's going to chuck you in, are they, to something if you can't do it?
Absolutely. Like my first job I had, you would not get me speaking on a microphone for the life. I was so nervous. I just turned 18. So I was very young when I first started, and they did not force me to do anything I didn't want to do. They helped me. Like the first time I had to present something was like party dancers, but they had somebody else next to me with a microphone so I could talk to them, so I wasn't just by myself. They help you all the time with stuff like that. They're not going to throw you in the deep end. Like if you want to be a dancer in a show, they're not going to just chuck you in straight away. You have a lot of training, you learn a lot of stuff. Also, as you do the job, you learn as you go. There's stuff I'm learning nowadays that I didn't know a couple of years ago.
Yeah. Just before, I know I said that was the last one, but you said something that I was like, oh, that's a good point. How do you get from a point of talking with someone with a microphone to talking on your own? What do you think helps people, you know, when, I mean, probably to me and you, and maybe not to you to start with, but it comes quite naturally because we can just talk to people. But maybe people who are just starting off in the business, what would you say is sort of a tip for when you're on your own on that stage? How do you keep a conversation going for 2 minutes?
It's really difficult at first, because at first people think, oh, what am I going to talk about? Like, and people are afraid of silence as well. That's one thing I've learned. But you can stop talking if you want to. If you want to let the music take over, that's absolutely fine. But when you want to talk, what I do is I actually clock on to people in the audience, because usually I stand quite far in front of the stage that I can see people, because usually the lights are blinding you and you can't see anyone. So it's just a blank screen, so you can't see anybody. But if you start to walk forward and actually see people and communicate with people and look into their eyes, it just comes naturally. And you'll also see things as you're walking around the venue that you can clock onto, like maybe this guy has started laughing at a joke you said, but it wasn't meant to be a joke. I can clock onto that and be like, why are you laughing? And then we start to have a conversation and everybody in the room can hear it. And people love it when you pick on somebody in the audience, not actually picking on them, but talking to them. So I would just make sure that you remember the people there. They are people at the end of the day. They're not like big scary monsters. They are people who are just here to enjoy your holiday. And a lot of the little kids are drawn to what you're saying. I could be talking absolute gibberish and the kids are just watching me like this. It's
and it's worth saying as well that it's not the cinema, so you can talk to people and they can talk to you. Good, thank you for that one, Amy. Someone said, and we might have touched on this already, but it's worth just re-emphasizing, what advice would you recommend to start working in children's entertainment? So if someone went, you know what, that sounds like a cool job, what do they need to do, Amy?
The biggest thing I would say is be yourself and have fun. Because if, like, a lot of people who I've worked with have put on a persona, so when they're on stage they're a completely different person to how they are off stage, but then the kids and the adults kind of catch on that that's not the real person and they just don't engage with them. But if you're the same person on stage as you are off stage, you're not only going to get people wanting to come and see you, but they're going to talk to you when you're off stage and just walking about. And also it's a lot more fun when you're yourself. So a lot of the times if like a kid's talking to me and I don't know what they're saying and I don't know what to say, I just make random noises like and just everyone just starts laughing, even the adults, and I'm like, I don't know how this is funny, but it's working. And if you're enjoying yourself as well, like it's so much more fun because I can like literally do anything on that stage. I could lie down on the stage and just start talking to the ceiling and people are like, that's entertainment right there.
So just go for it, in other words, just literally just, you know, go to an audition if there is one, if you are lucky enough to find one, and just go and be you, really.
Also, if you feel like you're being silly and you think, oh, this is a bit over the top, that's perfect. You're going to feel ridiculous with some of the stuff you've done. Some of the stuff I've done at work is absolutely ridiculous, but people love it. And even though I feel a bit embarrassed, like, oh, this is embarrassing, it's still funny to them. They don't care if it's embarrassing, they're just entertained. So if you do feel a little bit embarrassed, that is normal. It's absolutely normal. But the more you get over it, the more fun it is for you.
I feel like I'm living this life every day. I feel like I do things stupid every day. So, but let's move on to another question before we get into that. Change the subject slightly with our next question. When you are not acting, what do you do in your spare time? Someone said. I think that's probably because a lot of actors aren't necessarily always on stage. You're not always going to be in a film. You're not always going to be presenting. So do you keep yourself sort of engaged with current sort of kid stuff? Or what do you do?
Honestly, I'm very boring when I'm not working. There's three things I'm doing. I'm either eating, sleeping, or playing a video game. There's only three things I do. I don't really think about work when I'm not at work, because I've learned very quickly that that's not a really good thing to do. When you've got a day off, you should have it as a day off. You should not think about it. You just relax. So I'm like a grandma, really. I like to be snuggled up in my PJs, playing a game, having a drink, and just relaxing. I'm very boring. I'm not very entertaining outside of work.
But that's nice though, in a way, as you say, because you can overload yourself, you can burn out, and you do need your days off to be days off. I have to admit, I am rubbish when I go, right, I'm having a day off today, because I'll always go, oh, I'll just write a bit of script. Oh, I'll just edit this film. And then actually you're then tired because you haven't had a day off. So good advice there. Another question, is it easy to perform for children or for adults? Is it easier, I should say, to perform for children or for adults?
It depends what kind of person you are. Like, if I was to ask some of my friends, I think all of them would say they prefer performing for adults, because you don't have to be as animated or as silly, because adults understand that you're an adult as well. But me personally, I prefer performing for kids, because I'm a very childish person. As you know, I'm very childish. I giggle a lot. I make weird noises, and I'm very animated when I talk to people. And the kids just absolutely love that. So I find it more relatable performing for the kids, because, like I said before, they're just so attached to you, and you could literally say anything and they will laugh, and they're so understanding. They don't care what you look like. They don't care if you sound off or you look a bit bad, which is me most of the time.
Oh, no. I don't believe that, but yeah, I agree. I love performing to adults as well, but the kids, you can be a bit silly and I'm like Peter Pan. I feel I don't look like Peter Pan. I'm old, but I feel like I'm like a 10-year-old boy still. Good answer. Now, Amy, I'm afraid we have got to that point of the Cuppa Chat where someone has to come in and give. What do you want now? Amy, Laura, Amy. Laura, I've told you before, you can't just come in and interrupt in the middle of an interview. I'm speaking to the lovely Amy. We haven't got time for this. One question.
If you could work with anyone, so famous, not famous, who would you like to work with?
Oh, this is an obvious answer. If I could work with anybody, I would say again, it would be Gary.
Ah, look at that, you see?
Bonus points.
Oh, my head is like on like this. That's it. Who else? Go on, give me someone else. Go on. You can give me anyone in the world.
Oh, that's a really hard question. Honestly, I like working with anyone, but if I had to choose somebody, it would have to be, I don't know if you know him, but his name's Craig Charles.
Yes.
He's in a show called Doctor Who, and I absolutely love him. I love him as a presenter, and I love him as an actor. And if I could do one scene with him, I would probably go a bit starstruck. Honestly, I really love him. He's a brilliant actor.
Oh, well, good question, Laura. I'm now going to put that everywhere that Amy wants to work with me. I know. I'm just putting it out there. Oh, Amy, we'll work together at some point again. I think it'll happen. I'm sure it will. Let's have a few quick fire questions then before we have to finish. Did you always know you wanted to be an actor? Someone said.
Honestly, no, because when I was a kid, I didn't think it was an option. I always wanted to be a children's entertainer when I was a kid, because I grew up going to them. But I never wanted to be an actor, because I thought, oh, it's not going to be an option. But then when acting jobs came to me, I was like, oh, I can do this. Okay. So not all the time. And it's okay if like you don't want to be something as a kid, but then as you grow up, you change your mind. That's absolutely fine, because it happened to me.
Yeah, and that's really important as well, that you don't have to, you know, when you like have to write at school and you're like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then you're like, that's it, that's not set in stone. You can change your mind. And
absolutely.
same as if you're in the youth theatre now, and in like a couple of years' time, you might be like, no, I want to be a footballer or a runner, or I want to work in an office. It doesn't matter, does it?
No, absolutely not.
No. Great, good question. Let's have another one. If you could play one character in a show, what would it be and why?
This isn't really a specific character, it's more of a like role. One of my dream roles as I was a kid was to be a panto comic, because I never really see a female as a panto comic. It's usually a male. And even though I found them hilarious, I was like, I want to do that. I can pull funny faces, I can be funny, but it's never come up at the moment. But if I could choose, I would definitely love to be that one day.
You know what, Amy? You've actually just made me think, because obviously I end up playing the comic or the sidekick quite often, because that's my character type, just being daft, really. Or I'm dressed up in a dress normally, so take from that what you want. But I don't think I've ever worked or seen a lady comic in a panto.
See? I've seen one a couple of years ago, like many years ago, but other than that, it's always been a male. And I'm like, I want to be a comic. I want to be funny. I want to be a bit of a silly mare all the time.
Yeah, because you normally get, old school panto, obviously, you had the boys playing the girls and the girls playing the boys. So the hero was normally a lady, and the princess. But the hero and the princess aren't always funny. They're not wishy-washy. They're not Buttons from Cinderella. They're good. They're good roles. And yeah, I've never thought about it. Yeah, come on, let's get some ladies being these comics on the stage as well, because there's some wonderful lady character performers and comics as well out there. So Amy, I'm gonna get that for you. I'm gonna sort it. I'm not. I can't. I have no influence, but I can at least say we can try, can't we? So
yes, we can try.
We can try. Here's another question: is it true to never work with kids and animals?
I've actually managed to work with both. We had a show a couple of years ago where we had 4 live animals on the stage. So I was lucky enough to work with a python, a tarantula, a bearded dragon, and also a meerkat. And honestly, every time I got to work with them, they were fantastic. They were well behaved. They were very cute. I mean, one time the meerkat did try to nibble my ear, but that was fine. But kids, you can never predict what kids are going to do. But animals, sometimes you can predict what they're going to do, especially if they're sleepy.
I mean, I was not expecting you. I've done quite a lot of these, as everyone's been watching now on the CUPPA Chats. And I'm like, sometimes you're like, yeah, I know kind of what you're going to say. That was not what I thought you were going to say. You've worked with these animals. I thought you were going to be like, I've worked with a horse. I've worked with a dog. A tarantula? Are you mad?
It was very scary. It was literally, I've got small hands already, but it was bigger than my hands. It was very, very scary. And at one point we were having a photo on the stage and my friend just brought the tarantula in my face and I screamed very loudly. Everyone laughed.
I mean, I don't blame you. I'm not scared of spiders or tarantulas, but I don't think I'd want it in my face.
No. It still gives me shivers now.
We've got time for one final question. What's the strangest costume you've had to wear on stage? Someone said.
Oh, I don't think you're going to expect. You're not going to expect this one either.
Okay, right. Wait a minute. I've got to prepare myself this time. I'll ask the question again. What was the strangest costume you've worn on stage?
So a couple of years ago, we had some daytime activities where we had to play characters. And we had one called Sci-Fi Quest, which is all about like space and being a secret agent and doing loads of like team building and all that kind of stuff. And I was actually dual presenting it. So I had somebody else next to me. And during the show, I had to disappear. And the character who was on the screen talking to my friend would say, your comrade isn't who they say they are betraying you. And everyone would be like, oh my goodness, what on earth? And then a couple of minutes later, a siren would go off and I would come out in a bright green morph suit covering my entire body, running around, making weird alien noises, scaring the kids and the adults.
What is this place that you work in? It's mad! You were an alien. You turned into an alien.
Yep.
This sounds like my type of place. Why haven't I ever been to this? Why is this not my job? I would be perfect. I could be an alien.
You
Don't
could be
make
an
any
alien.
comments, Amy. Don't you dare say that I would look perfect as an alien. Oh my goodness. I think I found my dream job. I think sorted. Never mind being a prince. I've said I wanted to be a prince, Amy, since we started these CUPPA chats. But you know what? I want to be made disappeared, and I'm going to get into a green morph suit and turn into an alien and go around the room going.
There was bad moments though, because when the kids would see me at night time, they were allowed to like shout at me and say, "Naughty, you're a bad girl," and I'd always have to do punishment that night because I was naughty, and they'd put water on me, whipped cream on me. At one point, I had tomato ketchup poured on me as well.
Okay, maybe I don't want that role. You can keep that one. Okay, I don't want to do that.
Well,
thank you. Oh, thank you so much for sending in your questions for Amy. We've had so many more, but we've run out of time, I'm afraid. So thank you for sending them in. I'm sorry if we didn't get to ask your one. And thank you, Amy, for answering them for us today. Now, before we finish, we have got our little competition, which we play at the end of every CUPPA chat. This, Amy, is for you to get on the leaderboard. We are asking all of our guests to name as many drinks as they can within 30 seconds, okay? And it can be any drink in the world, okay? What we found is we find a lot about the person in the last 30 seconds of the show. People normally start off quite healthy, and then we see the true colours come out. You know exactly what I mean, okay? Now, I'll just tell you what the leaderboard is looking like, because if you do win and get the most drinks in 30 seconds, you could win 20,000 GLJ points.
What's that?
They're 20,000 GLJ points.
Yay!
That's the best reaction ever. That is it. 20,000 GLJ points. If you come in second, you win. Well, we haven't actually ever said what we get if you come in second. What should we win, Laura, if we get in second? 10,000 GLJ points. There you go. And if you come in third, you win a GLJ round of applause.
Okay, I like the round of applause.
So these are the people you've got to beat so far. Okay, we've had lots of contestants already. However, currently in first place is the lovely tour and panto actor Fee. Yes, we both know. Fee. Yeah, we both know Fee. She got 27 in 30.
27.
Yeah.
Okay.
Currently in second place, we've got the lovely Victoria from the Mousetrap, who got 26. So it's very close.
Ooh, that's close.
And in third place currently is our lovely teacher and creator, George, who's got 25 points.
Oh, that's so close.
Okay. Yeah. Now, as long as you beat our lovely Prince William and Evie, they've only got 15 points. They're currently in last place. Okay.
Oh, I don't want to be last.
So you need to, no, don't think like that, Amy. You've got to be positive that you're going to get more than 15 points, 15 drinks in 30 seconds, okay? Because you don't want to be in last place. So I am, Amy, going to give you 30 seconds on the clock to name as many drinks as you can, okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1, go!
Apple juice, orange juice, carrot juice, tomato juice, water, Coke, Fanta, Sprite, Dr. Pepper, tequila, tea, coffee, cappuccino, espresso, prosecco. I'm just thinking of all different ones. Sparkling water, strawberry flavored water, orange flavored water, smoothie, milk. I can't think of any more.
Stop the clock! That wasn't bad. I'm glad you said milk. If you've been watching, you'll know that milk is my favourite, so I'm glad you said milk. Amy, how do you think you did?
Not very good.
Not very good?
I panicked.
I mean, we did learn a lot about you. We started like nice juices, and then we got Prosecco!
I don't even like Prosecco.
Oh. Well, it doesn't matter because you've actually done, I think you've done better than what you thought you did. You're not in last place. I can tell you that much. They are, you see. See, that's good. That's good. You are actually drawing with our lovely dancer, Megan, who got 20 points.
That's better than I thought. I'll take that. I'll take
20 points. You've done pretty well. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people below you. So that's not bad, is it?
That's not bad. Better than I thought.
Better than you thought. There you are. And I expected you were going to do good at this because you obviously do all these games on stage and so on. So I think you've done yourself pretty good with that. Oh, well, Amy, thank you so much for joining us here on the CUPPA Chat today. And thank you guys for sending Amy in such wonderful questions in as well. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot of fun. Definitely brightened up my day. It was pretty fun.
Good. That's what we've tried to do. And we'll see you next time for another CUPPA Chat, everyone. Bye-bye now.